What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're here with some more NFL DFS picks and lineup advice for tonight's single game showdown slate. Thursday night football, divisional matchup, Seattle Seahawks, San Francisco 49ers. Welcome. I'm Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy. And what we do in these videos, we talk about the injuries that impact the showdown slate, low risk and high risk lineup construction tips, general showdown strategies to help you win tonight's 49ers and Seahawks matchup. Before we get started, though, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Give us a thumbs up if you like the content. Any questions, comment on the video below. We'll happily get back to you before the slate starts at 8:20, 8:15. Can never get it right. 8:15 tonight. So let's start with the injuries here. And there are a couple very impactful injuries. And we'll start with the questionable tag on Brock Purdy, internet sensation. He is expected to play, dealing with a rib oblique type injury. But Kyle Shanahan said he can't do any more damage to it. It's more of a pain management thing. We've seen that area of the body get pain injections, put on protective equipment. Purdy should be good to go tonight. If for some reason we get word that Purdy cannot suit up tonight, it'll be Josh Johnson. Journeyman had to update his LinkedIn for this game to put the 49ers on his history. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out Josh Johnson's LinkedIn. But veteran can get the job done, can run a little bit. So let's just keep that in mind. We're assuming that Purdy is going to play, but again, keep an eye out later today. Deebo Samuel, the most impactful injury. He is out of the lineup. Nasty ankle, knee injury last week. And when Deebo's been out of the lineup, fortunately, we do have a couple of games of samples, a couple games sample size to work with here. Generally, when Deebo is out, we get elevated target shares for Brandon Ayuk, who will be the number one wide receiver. We get elevated target shares for the tight end, specifically George Kittle. And as we saw last week in the second half after Deebo exited the game, let's scroll all the way down here. But it was actually Ray McLeod who saw the biggest benefit in both playing time and opportunity. We actually saw him get 3 rushing attempts last week. A little bit of a Deebo light role. And Shanahan said that he can do that role, maybe not as big and bulky as Deebo is, but can still handle some rushing attempts, as we saw, going to get targets. And we saw this basically last year as well when Deebo missed a game or two, that it's not like Jawan Jennings. Let's find Jawan Jennings here. Gets an elevated role. His role basically stays the same while they put in a replacement essentially in Deebo's place, and that person gets the biggest boost. So it's actually going to be McLeod who gets the biggest boost. Obviously, Jennings gets a boost because he'll likely see more targets with Deebo out of the picture, but the biggest playing time boost goes to Ray McLeod. And on DraftKings at just $1,200, McLeod is going to be one of the most popular players on the slate. I would say 40 to 50% owned in smaller contests, maybe 30% in the largest contest, 20% at least. FanDuel, not nearly, as we've seen before, these value plays aren't nearly as required on FanDuel as they are DraftKings. Not nearly as valuable because of the 5 roster spots compared to 6. Not nearly as valuable because of the half-point PPR scoring. But McLeod, 7,500. And again, if you look at percentage of the salary cap, not nearly as big of an advantage, but still a decent play in high-risk contests if he's going to get more opportunity. All right, let's go back to DraftKings here. Scrolling on down. Actually, if we stay at the top, Kenneth Walker is returning tonight. Missed last week's game. Is expected to play tonight. And like we saw with Ramondre Stevenson in the Monday Night Football game, just egregious pricing on Kenneth Walker. $7,600 for a guy who's going to handle almost all of the work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 guys priced above him. His raw projection is going to have him in the top 5. So just complete mispricing by DraftKings once again. So we're going to want to play Kenneth Walker heavily in all contest types. Not nearly as bad over on FanDuel. 12,500. Pretty normal running back pricing there. So a lot of mispricings on DraftKings compared to FanDuel tonight. DJ Dallas is probably going to remain out. Didn't play last week with his ankle injury. Didn't practice all last week. Didn't practice all this week. So I know he's listed as questionable, but he was also listed as questionable last week and basically had no shot of playing. He won't play tonight. It's going to be Travis Homer, who is spelling Kenneth Walker, playing some passing downs, maybe some hurry up. And again, he's 7K, so he's just also terribly priced. I assume that was as a safeguard in case Kenneth Walker was out. They didn't want a 3K priced homer to be 90% owned. Instead, he's 7K, and now he'll be 5% owned. So that's what we get. Scrolling on down, I think that's it. Elijah Mitchell obviously remains out. Jordan Mason is the running back 2 behind Christian McCaffrey. But he's pretty pricey at 4,800, I believe. Yeah, 4,800. All right. Let's talk about low risk contests, 50-50s, double ups, head to heads, contests where you just have to beat half the field to double your money. And it's actually pretty simple on DraftKings tonight because if you've read our showdown guide, which if you haven't, make sure you check it out. It's in the description below. Historical, profitable showdown strategies, tons of information. You want to play both running backs, both quarterbacks when we have defined backfields, and we have that tonight. CMC, Geno Smith, Brock Purdy, Kenneth Walker. Now, 25-50 left per player is generally not a lot, but however, we do have the McLeod situation. The first part of showdown, low risk, is try to lock up all the scoring, as we did. Second part, or in conjunction, play all the mispriced or value plays. That is Ray McLeod. That leaves us with 3,900. We could play a kicker or another a defense. If you want to upgrade a little further, you could always move Geno to the captain spot, Kenneth Walker to the captain spot. But these 5 guys are the key for DraftKings low risk contest tonight. Now, if we move over to FanDuel, as it usually is, it's a much more difficult decision. If we try to fit those 4 guys, $500 left per player, obviously can't do that. Even if we leave, let's just say we leave Kenneth Walker out, $6,500 left per player, we can't do that. Let's leave Brock Purdy out and use McCaffrey and Geno. Let's put in Walker. $7,750, that's a little more doable, but we're still basically punting the final 2 spots. As always, the best bet is probably just using 2 of these top 4 and then filling in with kickers, defenses, mid-range plays. But again, so many ways you can go here. There's no specific strategy. Makes it a much tougher low-risk slate tonight on FanDuel. All right, high-risk contests, DraftKings. Let's go back there. Leagues, satellites, GPPs, exponential payouts. We get this question often. Single entry contests. Doesn't matter how many entries you have. It's about the size of the field, the payout structure. So single entry GPPs fall under the high-risk umbrella as well. Exponential payouts. So we have to beat a lot of people to get a lot of money. Tonight, we're going to see outrageous on both sites ownership on Christian McCaffrey in the captain and MVP spot. Naturally, because he catches a ton of passes, gets a lot of work, and is just a generally #good player. So he's going to be the most popular. He could push 40% on DraftKings. Would not be shocking. Definitely will push 40% over on FanDuel. So the question you have to ask yourself tonight when you're playing these high-risk contests, do I play McCaffrey at captain? Do I just play him in the flex? Do I fade him entirely? We actually saw that work out for Kyler and Ramondre faders on Monday. Rarely that works out, especially in smaller contests. But to me, one, you can play McCaffrey. And if you play McCaffrey at captain, then you probably don't want to play Ray McLeod because you're going to end up with the same type of construction as 30-40% of the field. So if you play McCaffrey, don't play McLeod in the flex. Play some of these other guys. Maybe you play Jawan Jennings. Maybe you play a second tight end. Maybe the second tight end gets more work. That's a possibility. However, I think the best move tonight on both sites is we have guys that can outscore McCaffrey. It's not like it's McCaffrey and then no one else. We've seen that on some slates before. But however, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf have ceilings. Geno has a ceiling. Purdy, we've seen him throw multiple touchdowns in a game, especially on FanDuel. If the touchdown variance goes in favor of Brock Purdy in the passing game instead of McCaffrey, Purdy can be the optimal MVP over on FanDuel. And then Kenneth Walker, again, just crazy pricing. But what most people will do if they play Kenneth Walker in the captain spot, they're going to fill out most of their salary, as rightfully you should. However, Kenneth Walker, we've seen him bust out big games. I know it's a tough defense here, but if he's the highest scorer on the slate, the rest of the salary doesn't matter, right? So I think using Kenneth Walker at the captain on DraftKings and on FanDuel as well, great FanDuel MVP play as well. But if you play Kenneth Walker on DraftKings and leave enough salary to where it's possible to upgrade to McCaffrey at captain, most people in that situation and most optimizers will just upgrade to McCaffrey at captain. However, if you play this instead and leave however much salary you need to where you could upgrade to McCaffrey and just leave Walker at captain, that's a huge differentiator and a great way to create a unique lineup tonight on DraftKings. And I think the key point here is just get different at captain, leave some salary, and if you play McCaffrey, try not to pair him with other players that most people are going to pair him with. So it's a really straightforward slate for the most part. Let's still keep an eye out for injuries, practice squad call-ups, any late game inactives that could impact the slate. Our writer Bismo does a great job in our OccupyFantasy.com daily plug. Normally releases 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Eastern on Mondays and Thursdays. And what we do in that article is we rank players, low risk, high risk contest, FanDuel, DraftKings, give lineup construction tips for specific contests on both sites. overall slate notes, stats, advanced metrics, things you need to help you select some players, and then contests to play. It's an overall roadmap to the slate, so make sure you check that out, especially since it's going to get updated throughout the day with any injury information. Check out our Occupy model. All these links are in the description below. Ranks every player FanDuel DraftKings using our proprietary metrics, projected ownership, and our OccupyFantasy.com lineup builder, which allows you to build up to 300 lineups using our optimal lineup criteria. So that'll do it for the video. Appreciate you listening as always. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Obviously, it helps us out. Let's be transparent here. The more subscribers we get, that's great. But it also helps you out because we're putting out multiple videos per day. And sometimes the YouTube algorithm doesn't necessarily put the video in front of you, even if you're liking the video and watching the video. But if you're subscribed, you'll definitely get notified when these videos go live and are uploaded in the future. Give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. It helps others find the video as well. Any questions you have, comment on the video below. Always love to hear your thoughts, your ideas for the slate, any lineup questions, any player questions. Throw them in the comments below. Or join our Discord server, occupyfantasy.com/Discord, where you can have in-depth conversations with other members of the community, chat with us, sweat the games with us. We'd love to have you. So, Brian Jester, Occupy Fantasy, thanks for listening, and good luck in tonight's 49ers and Seahawks showdown slate.